So at what point can you start detaching and removing yourself from doing the sleep window? So if you've been on my channel for a while, hopefully you're now doing the sleep window, where you have been reducing your time in bed in order to rebuild your pattern of sleep and to strengthen your sleep drive. If you haven't done it yet, check a look at the comment section. You'll find links to how to do your own sleep window. But say you have been doing a sleep window, at what point do you start to come off it? So I've got a client at the moment who's towards the end of his program, and he's very anxious and nervous about coming off his sleep window. And that's incredibly understandable to feel that way. So when you've got insomnia, you're desperate to control your sleep. And you've trained and conditioned your brain to control your sleep. So all the things that you've done in the past, the warm baths, kiwi, fruit supplements, meditation, not drinking caffeine after 3 p.m, not eating late in a restaurant, all of these things are to try and get control over something that you feel you have absolutely no control of whatsoever. Part of what I do in my program is to shift your focus on what you do have control over, what you do during the daytime to build that sleep drive. But coming towards the end of the program, he's on his sleep window and there's a little bit of anxiety about coming off it, because everything that he had done in the past to control his sleep hadn't worked, and now he's found something to control his sleep which does work, which is giving him good quality, consistent sleep, virtually every single night. And so naturally coming off what you feel is working and giving you good sleep is going to cause you anxiety, and you might think, well, why would I ever want to come off this sleep window? And that's kind of how I approach it. I kind of ask people, why would you ever want to come off this sleep window? What if you had to be on this sleep window for the rest of your life? What time would you choose? And some people would say, well, I feel I only need 6.5 hours of sleep, so if I had to be on a sleep window for the rest of my life, I'd probably give myself 7 hours in bed. And I'd say, okay, great. That's now your sleep window for the rest of your life, and stay on it. But what if one night you don't stick to it? Is that going to be the end of the world? Is that going to make your knees catch fire and the world implode? They're probably going, no, I think I'll probably be fine with that. So yeah, okay, we'll have the occasional lie-in the future. That's fine. And what if when you're on this sleep window for the rest of your life, you're just a bit sleepier, a bit earlier, and you decide to go to bed a bit earlier, just on one night? Is that going to be the end of the world? And they go, no, I think just on the occasion, just having, one night where I go to bed a little bit earlier isn't going to ruin anything either. And I'll stretch it a little bit further. Or what if you have the occasional nap? Or what if one night you actually go to bed when you're not sleepy, just because you're feeling a little bit tired and you'd like to watch a little bit of Netflix in bed? Would that be okay? Just on one night at some point in the future. Do you think that's going to ruin everything? No, I don't either. And I'll say, okay, well, keep your sleep window. And then whenever you feel like you want to have a lie-in, just have one. And whenever you feel like you want to go to bed before the sleep window starts, just do that. And if you want to feel you would like to stop looking at the clock, so you're not trying to go to bed after a certain time, do that. And then often people find that they don't actively try to get rid of their sleep window. They just become more and more relaxed around their sleep, more and more calm about it. They break the rules more and more and more, and without even knowing it, 2, 3, 4 months down the line, they suddenly kind of wake up and realize, actually, the sleep window that I was so worried about coming off of, I've actually have come off it without even realizing that I've done it. So if you're in the same boat, if you're struggling to come off your sleep window, give yourself permission to be on it forever. But also give yourself permission to be as relaxed and calm about it as possible, and you'll probably find over time, it will just naturally start to dissolve. So the more you start detaching from your sleep, the more relaxed and calm and less obsessive you get about your sleep, the less you try to do everything perfectly, the more it would just kind of, this sleep program and everything that I teach would dissolve into the background, and you would remember and discover that actually, no, you are a good sleeper again and a normal sleeper again. All right, hope this video has been helpful. Sleepze.com, and I'll see you on the next video.